Yes! Yes! What a draft! Welcome to the worst sports channel on YouTube. Welcome to Hot Garbage Sports with me, Coach Ryan D. Did you all see that? That's how you draft. That's how you entertain.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
What a first day of the NFL draft. I don't know if you guys were as excited as I would, but last year it was just so boring. This year, nope, not boring at all. Amazing draft. Now, I know the first thing people are going to say, Ryan, you're a Cowboys fan, and this is the only time of the year you can be happy because when you're playing in the regular season, they just suck. You're right. But right now, I'm super happy. Yeah. I want to go over through this video what I thought were the big moments of the first round of the NFL draft. I want to zing a couple of your teams, give you a few comedic takes on what I think I saw, as well as some really good analysis of about 8 or 9 players and what happened in the first round of the NFL draft. Finally, if you stick around to the end, you'll get my opinion on how this may or may not affect your fantasy team if you're into that sort of thing, or if you're a gambling degenerate like me. So stay tuned, hang with us, roll to intro. As you take a look up top, when I put them up there, I'm going to throw up what my favorite mock draft was of the NFL. I think only one person got this right. I'm going to start throwing up their picks, and we're going to compare their picks to some of the biggest moves in the NFL draft. And day 2 is tonight. So day 1, first overall pick. Oh, the Jags. You take Trevor Lawrence. Trevor, I'm so sorry, but you're going to be joining AEW quite soon. For those of you who don't know, the owner of the Jaguars, well, kind of sucks at owning a football team, so he bought a professional wrestling promotion, which is fantastic if you're a nerd like me and like pro wrestling and combat sports. So Trevor Lawrence, have a solid 4 years. You're the greatest quarterback prospect to ever play. You're a can't miss prospect, but I have a feeling they're going to not take your 5th round option as you transition into the world of pro wrestling. Dale is an NFL quarterback because you got drafted by the Jags, but that's okay. In all seriousness though, Trevor Lawrence is a fantastic prospect. He should be fine. I don't think we have a Jamarcus Russell situation going on here. Sunshine looks like he's going to be a winner. So Jags fans, you should be thrilled. Can I say Jags fans? Is it plural yet? Can I just go Jags fan? Jags fan. Yeah, Jags fan. You should be pretty happy with this pick. Pick number 2, Zach Wilson goes to the New York Jets. No, it wasn't Sarah Fuller, but that was a pretty good mock draft. It was pretty good. No, it wasn't Sarah Fuller. It was Zach Wilson. This is where everything started to get muddied before the draft. Analysts all over the place. Most of the media picked Zach Wilson, but like, you gotta wonder, did Zach Wilson get picked because he is the right quarterback prospect? He's got a big arm, looks like a 12-year-old boy, but doesn't throw that way. NFL scouts, NFL analysts said the more they watched Wilson, the more they thought he was the right pick and the one they wanted to put on there. But I gotta wonder, is that a media narrative? Like, are they doing the same thing that happens with politics and other things that thrown into the media where one person gives a take and then everybody just copies the take because they don't have time? And did that end up copying of take translate over to the New York Jets? But Ryan, NFL scouts do really good at their job. They do. But it's the New York Jets, right? Like, it's the Jets. So somehow Zach Wilson is going to be the best prospect that never was. He'll blow it. Sam Darnold out the door because I just don't believe in anything that the Jets do. But stick with me, Jets fans, because I think your pick a little bit further down the line was actually pretty good, and you give me a little bit of hope later on in the draft. So the draft gets super interesting at pick number 3. San Francisco goes out of their way to draft the wrong QB. This mock draft is excellent. Like, whoever wrote it, I'll put a link down below. I don't know if this is the wrong QB though, to be honest. Let's be serious. Trey Lance comes in with one of my favorite things in an NFL prospect. An NFL prospect, to me, should be young. I'm not a huge believer and haven't been a huge believer in seniors entering the draft. I know quarterbacks take some time to get their mind right. They take a little bit of time to develop. Joe Burrow looked pretty good last year. It's not the be-all, end-all for age. But if you're good, you're probably good at 20. And if you're good at 20, you should be able to enter the NFL draft and develop. And that's exactly what Trey Lance is. He's a big arm, fantastically mobile, athletic freak. And he's 20. Like, he's 20. I love this. I know Sam Darnold was 20 and I was just ripping on the Jets. The crazy thing is Sam Darnold's younger than Joe Burrow and he's been in the league for 3 years. So that should tell you something about age. But I think age-adjusted production is a very big deal in the NFL. And I think the San Francisco 49ers made the correct pick by reaching for Trey Lance. Nobody had Trey Lance on their mock drafts. And if you did, your name is Nathan. One guy. I seen one guy have Trey Lance on their mock draft. So shout out to you. You nailed it. Everybody else, I guarantee you missed this, including the analysts. But when the pick comes through, it makes sense. Why Justin Fields fell? I have no idea. But Trey Lance isn't a bad pick. Then the draft goes super bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Atlanta ends up hitting it with... He got it. He nailed this one. Atlanta ends up hitting it with Kyle Pitts. How do we feel about this? Kyle Pitts is a freak. This is probably the best player in the draft. He might even be better than Trevor Lawrence. This is the most talented guy. And when you can get the best player on the board at pick 4, it's usually a steal. I am shocked that there was no trade down. If you were, please leave a comment down below letting me know that you were shocked, or please leave a comment letting me know below if you weren't shocked. I've been watching the Dirty Birds for quite some time. I've been a big Matt Ryan fan for some time. Got Calvin Ridley on my fantasy team. Julio Jones, my dude. But I don't know if this was the pick. I don't know what prices they were offered though for the 4th overall. Like what could they have been offered? Did San Francisco just ruin the draft by paying so much to move up to 3rd? And then the bigger question becomes, did San Francisco really need to pay that much? Because nobody made a trade to move up to go get a quarterback. We all thought this was going to be 4 quarterbacks, or even crazier, there was going to be more people trading up to come get their quarterback. It didn't happen. And even more insane, teams that needed a quarterback just passed on them. So that should say something about these final 2 quarterbacks. NFL scouts, they usually get it right. Well, maybe they don't get it right. They're humans, but they probably have the best chance to get it right out of all us talking heads out there. So the next 2 quarterback prospects end up falling. Justin Fields ends up falling. Mac Jones ends up falling, and we'll talk about them. Don't you worry. But for now, did Atlanta make the right pick? Not sure, but I love the fact that they went for talent. Probably should have added something to the defense, to be perfectly honest, but really hard to pass on Kyle Pitts. And who am I to tell you what to do? I'm a Cowboys fan and cheered for CeeDee Lamb coming in as like our 4th, 5th, 7th receiver. Like, okay, he's one of our best receivers, but we had a lot of receivers. I don't know if we needed him, but I was stoked because I was like, CeeDee Lamb. Moving on to pick 5. This is where the draft gets really confusing to me. So Jamar Chase ends up at the Bengals. And what was the prediction on the Bengals? Wrong. Wasn't life insurance for Joe Burrow. It was his boy, Jamar Chase. I love Jamar Chase. This guy is a freak. Wide receiver 1 all day. But seriously, Cincinnati, your quarterback just had his leg explode. Gone. Andrew Luck retires because he's injured. Aaron Rodgers has had 2 bad shoulders. Tony Romo gets exploded before the offensive line comes in. Russell Wilson wants a trade because his offensive line is terrible. You guys noticing a pattern yet? Quarterbacks need to be protected. Why did you not take Penei Sewell? Why? This doesn't help you. You have T. Higgins. You're building outside in. You're building backwards. And guess what? The Pittsburgh Steelers, here they got a pretty good defense, and they're coming for you. Murderers Row. The Browns? Okay, well, we can always joke about the Browns. They don't even have a logo, but they have a good defense. Who's going to stop Myles Garrett? Nobody. He might hit you over the head with a helmet or break your other knee. But don't worry, at least you got Jamar Chase, right? You better hope, Joe Burrow, that you can get that ball out of your hands fast and into Higgins or into Boyd or into your new weapon, Jamar Chase, because you're going to be running for your life. You're going to have happy feet. And I don't want to see another Baker Mayfield moment where we have an excellent rookie quarterback who gets hit once, he's hurt, now he's scared to take a hit because his offensive line is trash. I don't know if you can fix this through free agency, but this is a questionable pick. Questionable pick. If you like Jamar Chase, smash a like down below for me. If you don't like Jamar Chase, leave a comment, okay? Leave a comment. Number 6, Miami Dolphins. Trading all over the place. They moved all over. They moved up. They moved down, left, right. They still end up getting a highly skilled player, but like they end up drafting Jaylen Waddle. What's up with that? Like he's good, but Waddle? Really? All right. I mean, sure. Tua could use some more weapons. Again, Sewell's sitting there and maybe you want to help out your young quarterback, but no, that's okay. We're going to go with Parker, Fuller, Waddle, Williams. That's a lot of big-bodied X-receivers. So I think Waddle is going to move into the slot. He's a little bit slighter than some of those guys I just mentioned. Fuller, Williams, and Parker are big boys on the outside playing that X role. So I think Waddle moves into the slot, gives a little bit of a security blanket over there to Tua. Tua needs all the help he can get right now. I still believe in Tua. Should it have been Devonta Smith? Probably, but you know what? Again, we don't know. These are two pretty good receivers, so let's see if Waddle works out. I mean, he's elite. He's super elite. I just would have taken the smooth route running of Devonta Smith, but clearly Miami didn't like the slenderness. That's all I can think of. Waddell's a very good player. I just feel at 6, there's other players that you could have picked, and passing on Sewell, I don't know. Next up, the lovable loser Detroit Lions. Oh my God. Is there a worse franchise in sports at this point right now? Well, I mean, maybe the Leafs. They haven't won in 55 years, so. But outside of that, sorry, I always got to get a shot in at Toronto Maple Leafs. You just got to. But outside of that, the Detroit Lions have just been putrid for years. They've had fantastic players. Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Ndamukong Suh. These guys have had some amazing talent. They just don't know how to build around it. So once again, it's like their 10,000th front office. They went in and did exactly what I have been saying you should be doing in the NFL. Build from the inside out. I know a lot of GMs want to build from the outside in, and we can see that with Jamar Chase, Waddle, and Kyle Pitts going in over Sewell, but they just get a steal, and they were hugging and kissing and high-fiving, and they should be. Protect Jared Goff. Is Jared Goff your answer? Probably not. Jared Goff, King Goff is fine. So like, he's not their long-term answer, but if you can give him more time in the pocket, he can be better. So this pick just makes all kinds of sense. And if Goff isn't your quarterback of the future, Sewell is going to be your tackle of the future. So you got him locked in for about 10 years, as long as he doesn't get injured. Fantastic pick. I can't believe I'm saying it, but the Detroit Lions, you nailed it for once. Maybe you're going in the right direction. So let me know what you think down below. And then it gets interesting. 2 teams that are quarterback hungry, the Broncos, the Panthers, all the offseason news, the trade rumors for Deshaun Watson before he went around and became, I don't know, Deshaun Watson. They end up taking cornerbacks. And don't get me wrong, I love the fact that you're building through the D. If you don't think those quarterbacks are your quarterbacks of the future, don't go reaching for them. Pick the best player available on the board. And Surtain and Horne were the best 2 cornerbacks on the board. One is a little bit smoother in Surtain. One's a little bit more physical in Jayce Horne. Depends what you like in your pass coverage. But with all these wide receivers going all over the place and it being passing heaven these days, you're going to need those shutdown corners. And I believe both of these guys end up being shutdown corners. So I like the pick. But here's what's crazy, especially for the Broncos. Surtain could be the best cornerback in the league, and if Justin Fields or Mac Jones ends up being the truth and a 10 to 15 year starting quarterback with a really good X factor, Broncos fans, you are never, ever going to let them forget that pick. It doesn't matter how good Surtain is. You're just going to hate on the fact that you passed on a franchise quarterback. So you're stuck with Teddy Brokewater, Drew Lock. Maybe he can finally unlock himself and figure it out. I'm very punny. And we'll see what happens. But I like these picks. I like safe picks because at the end of the day, if you don't think these are your guys, don't worry about it. Pick a talented player. Good job. And then the Dallas Cowboys are on the board and do the smart thing since the last time they drafted and took Zach Martin because everything else in between was nyeh. They do the smart thing. They trade back. They lost their cornerback. Everyone thought Surtain was going to go to the Cowboys. That's okay. They make up for it a pick later. And the Philadelphia Eagles, interesting that they traded to a divisional opponent. What was going to happen there? I really thought they were going to take the replacement to Jalen Hurts because I don't think they're sold on Jalen Hurts. They want some kind of competition. I don't want to comment on how I think Hurts is going to do. I just think they were going to take somebody else. And they end up getting Devonta Smith. You know what? High five. Good pick. Good pick. I think that's great value. You could have the best wide receiver in this class. So the Philadelphia Eagles finally get a wide receiver, but knowing the Philadelphia Eagles track record, Devonta Smith will be hurt week 1 and then they'll be rolling with somebody else. And somehow Jalen Reagor won't end up in the lineup and Alshon Jeffrey will come back from the grave. And that's what you'll be stuck with. Or maybe Deshaun Jackson. Like, I don't know who catches balls for the Eagles. Can't believe you guys won a Super Bowl. Unbelievable. Nick Foles. Okay. So the Chicago Bears, unbelievable play. They finally go up. They go get their guy, Justin Fields. Justin Fields has immense accuracy. He has an athletic profile that's through the roof. He slipped and fell. Are we seeing a Justin Herbert here? Herbert should never have fallen the way he ended up falling, but people really, they got bored with him. I actually think that's what happened to Herbert last year. I think they've been talking about Herbert for so long that he ends up sliding down the draft board. And I think it happened to Tua as well too. Burrow comes in, takes the spot. Herbert falls to number 3, ends up being the best quarterback out of them all. I have had Justin Fields high on my board for a very long time because of his pinpoint accuracy, his mobility, just his athletic profile. and he ends up going to the Chicago Bears. I truly believe the Bears are a quarterback away from a Super Bowl. They end up trading a 2022 draft pick, so that means that Matt Nagy and this coaching offense is going to get at least 2 more years at the helm to try to win. You don't allow your coach to trade away future assets if you're going to fire him after 1 year, so I think Nagy gets 2 years. This year isn't going to be your year because he's a rookie. 2022 could be a Super Bowl favorite, so really nice job by the Chicago Bears. And Andy Dalton, poof, back up again. And then finally, the Dallas Cowboys come in and select the best defensive player in the draft in Micah Parsons. Love when Dallas does things that are correct. Or at the very least, I'm just recognizing that I'm super biased and it's the only time I can cheer for the Cowboys, because even with all their money, Jerry Jones is just playing fantasy football with a real football team and he's not doing it well. So whatever. Go boys! Micah Parsons has unbelievable speed. 4.3940. This man is a terror, and he's going to join Jaylen Smith and Van Der Esch in the middle. Both those guys, absolute injury-prone bugs. Smith, if he can bounce back this year, will be joined by Parsons. I don't believe Van Der Esch is going to be able to stay on the field. If he does, you end up having probably the best linebacking core in the NFL between these three. And what makes Parsons so attractive is with that speed on third down, you put him outside on the edge, he has absolutely got the ability to get to the quarterback, and he's got the ability to beat these new linemen in the NFL these days that are slimmer and faster because his speed is off the charts. He can also play a little bit of a Sam role or right in the middle of the field and look for a lot of picks because of that speed. Like, his speed just makes him so versatile. So we could actually be looking at the next JJ Watt. But in true Cowboy form, he has off-field issues. So I don't know, maybe he'll suck and shoot himself in the foot in a club or something. Whatever. All right, then let's move on to Mac Jones. We're just going to skip right past Rashawn Slater and whoever the Jets took. Okay, no, we won't. Let's talk about the Jets. The Jets did what I think teams should be doing when they take a franchise quarterback, and that's shoring up your offensive line. The Jets trade up to shore up their offensive line with Vera Tucker. I think this actually gives me this much hope for Zach Wilson and the Jets, because finally somebody is playing football the way I always thought football should be played. Like, it's a complex sport for sure, but it doesn't seem super complex when you get a franchise quarterback. You should protect him. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong about protecting your franchise quarterback, let me know in the comments down below. You end up picking the best guard in the draft. Give your quarterback a chance. I like it. I like this pick. It doesn't matter if you think it's attractive or not. I like this pick. So good job. Maybe the Jets are moving on to something good. Nah, probably not. It's the Jets. They'll screw it up. So from there, the Stormtroopers, the Empire, something dark side, something complete, and Bill Belichick end up drafting Mac Jones. Is this the next Tom Brady replacement? I don't know. Kid's got a chip on his shoulder. Looks like he wants to play. I think he's fired up. We think we should trust in Belichick's draft picks, but his drafting really hasn't been good since 2015. His free agent signing has been excellent. He's clearly the most winningest coach, but we're not sure. Mac Jones fell for a reason, so we'll see. But Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick, so very hard to determine where this is going to go. Is Cam Newton going to start, or is Jones going to start? My money right now is that Newton is going to start the season, but I think Jones will take over by game 6. I really do. I don't think Newton has much upside left other than running, and maybe Bill Belichick will start them both right away and use that run option. I don't know what's going on with the Patriots wide receivers. They paid way too much money to Kendrick Bourne. Jacoby Myers looks okay. Keneal Harry can't get on the field. And they signed somebody else. I don't even remember his name. Throw his name in the comments below, but like, they paid way too much money to a bunch of no names. However, their tight end situation looks really good, and that should help Mac Jones with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, a couple big bodies down the middle. We'll see what calls Bill Belichick and the Stormtroopers can come up with here. So the Empire is looking like the Empire again. Maybe we are seeing a rebuild. And the funny thing about it is, when you talk about Mac Jones compared to Tom Brady, this picture comes up. That's hilarious. I gotta say this about Mac Jones, though. I'm not really thrilled as a person who works with high-end athletes to see a guy coming in looking like this. Like, I know it's not the be-all, end-all, but you're a pro athlete, son. Like, really, you get paid millions of dollars now to play a sport. I get you can chuck the rock, but you gotta get that baby fat out of there. It's gotta be a signal of discipline. Like, nothing saying you gotta come in ripped with, steroided up arms or anything, but come on, man. The dad bod? I don't know. That makes me worried. When athletes look like that, I wonder if they work hard or if they're dedicated enough to their craft. It doesn't mean they aren't. It doesn't mean they aren't. It's not the be all end all. Talent is talent. What up, Phil Kessel? But I don't know. Tell me what you think about this. It doesn't leave a lot of confidence for me. So, and then the New York Giants, because we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys and we've been roasting the NFC East. And we can roast the NFC East all we want, and you guys can all be haters all you want, but the NFC East, even if they have a bad season, can end up winning the Super Bowl because it's the NFC East. It is the 4 hottest teams. Like, yeah, I know the Patriots, blah, 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 all that. But really, the 4 teams out of the NFC East, they get Monday night and Sunday night games for a reason. Massive fan bases. The Cowboys, the Redskins, the Eagles, the Giants. Ugh, the Giants, Eli Manning. But they draw a crowd. So speaking of the Giants, they make a good play by trading back and they end up taking Kadarius Toney. How does that make me feel? Daniel Jones sucks, so not really worried. But Kadarius Toney may be the best wide receiver in this class. I know that's a reach and a hot take, but he's got all the measurables and athletic profile and raw talent to be able to do it. He's just raw. So a couple years of learning how to run routes behind the ultra smooth Kenny G might be able to help him out. Daniel Jones gets another weapon. Slayton and Shepard definitely aren't the answer. So now you're sitting here with Toney and Kenny G. I like it. So Saquon Barkley's back. Maybe they'll do something. Like, I hope they don't. But then again, the New York Giants did miss on their offensive lineman that they couldn't miss on last year by reaching for a guy at the end of the first round with the 4th pick, and the guy they shouldn't have reached for and ended up actually being the best lineman in the draft. But whatever, guess they know what they're doing. Okay, and then the last 2 picks I want to discuss. Running backs, fantasy football fans, salivation. Here we go. Pittsburgh Steelers take Najee Harris. Najee Harris, this man was born to be a Steeler. He is a beast. I have been saying on this channel, I'm not a huge fan of Najee Harris because he's 23 years old, and I'm still not a fan of Najee Harris, with the exception of the fact that he just got drafted to Pittsburgh. So, woo! Fantasy gold, automatic top 5 pick in a redraft league, maybe even a top 3, because that's a Pittsburgh Steeler running back. Mike Tomlin's going to smash him down throats for 3 downs, and it's pure volume play. It also looks like he has a little bit of talent, but I don't love the fact that he waited till his senior year to come out. Okay, you came out in the first round, now you're getting the big payday, but I don't know, just signals to me that you couldn't beat Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Gibson or Dobbins last year, and you really didn't think your draft stock was high enough when you should have come out, so a little nervous about you, but way less nervous than you're a Steeler. However, let's talk about the fact that you just shouldn't have drafted a running back. Absolutely not. You should have been looking for a lineman. You lost a few of your linemen. Pouncey's gone. You really needed some help there. You have one of the best, if not the best defense in the league. But is a running back going to put you back into Super Bowl contention? I mean, you looked awesome last year, but Ben Roethlisberger ain't getting it done. I don't know if Dwayne Haskins is going to be your answer. Your line is decimated. Roethlisberger is probably 1 hit away from being retired into the old folks home now. So at least you got Najee Harris. You can get a running back literally anywhere. I mean, James Robinson proved that. You could trade for a back. They could be an undrafted free agent. I don't know. I have to think that this has got to be a little bit of the old Pittsburgh Steeler mentality. You really haven't had a dominant running back since, well, let's see. James Conner wasn't. Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, that guy was pretty good. And then you didn't end up paying him and it cost you a Super Bowl. But you're probably right not to pay him because he's a bum. So Najee Harris comes in, probably going to be a great play for fantasy, probably going to eat up a lot of yards. Can the Pittsburgh Steelers hang on and actually make it to the end of the season healthy and do something in the playoffs? I want to know your thoughts down in the comments. If you're a Steelers fan as well, smash a like. Good hard team. Travis Etienne. I knew the Jags were going to go quarterback, running back. Urban Meyer comes in. You want new toys. His first new toy, Trevor Lawrence. Second new toy, teammate from Clemson, Travis Etienne. This looks hot because Etienne's got breakaway speed and his hands start getting better. But again, it's the Jags, so somehow this is going to screw up. And the first thing Urban Meyer says, love the coach speak, by the way. Urban Meyer comes out and says, he's my 3rd down back. What? He's your 3rd down back. You spent a 1st round pick on a running back and you're going to give him your 3rd down role? Nah, bro. Who you trying to pull the wires over? Even James Robinson knows he's screwed. And if you do make him your 3rd down back, how good of a coach are you? There are so many other positions of need. Why would you do that? These coaches make 0 sense. So, Jags fan, hope it works out for you. Will they be drafting Travis Etienne in a fantasy league? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so that's my take on the draft this year. Thank you so much for watching. We're now going to spend 2 or 3 minutes talking about fantasy implications of these guys and where we think they should go. So, here we go. Travis Etienne, where should you draft him? 5th? I think 5th pick now is probably about safe. We'll do a little bit more of a take on this later on down the channel, but for now, I think he's probably safe in your 5th overall pick as a rookie in dynasty leagues. Najee Harris is probably your 1st overall pick. Number 2, I think it's got to be Jamar Chase. Even though I don't know if Joe Burrow will be able to get the ball out of his hands quick enough before he's destroyed by the rest of the people in the AFC North, but guess we'll see. Yeah, I like Chase there. Pitsy probably got to come in a top 6 pick, depending on how many tight ends you run. If it's just a single tight end league, probably fade him to the back of the 1st round. If it's a 2 tight end league, he's definitely going to be a top 4 pick. Single quarterback league, Trevor Lawrence probably fades back into the beginning of the 1st round, pick 8 to pick 12, depending on how many people you have there. And if it's a super flex league, you're probably going to go Trevor Lawrence. I personally would take Trey Lance, number 2. I like his upside and that offense in San Francisco way more than I like Zach Wilson at the Jets. But Zach Wilson at the Jets is going to start from day 1. So if you need a starter from day 1, I understand why you'd take Wilson. But I'm going Lawrence, Lance. Then I'm going to go Fields because he's going to start for Chicago, and Allen Robinson, beast of a receiver. So I would absolutely go Justin Fields. Then I would probably go Zach Wilson. And it's just my Jets bias. They never work out. So if he works out, he works out. But history has told me this probably isn't going to happen. So yeah, I'm putting him 4. Then I would go ahead and end up taking Mac Jones, Lance, Fields, Lawrence. If it's a super flex league, should go 1, 2, and 3 in my opinion. Then Najee Harris, number 4. And then probably Jamar Chase, number 5. And I would probably end up fading Jones and Wilson to 7 or 8. That won't happen. I mean, in a super flex league, it's fine if you go 5 quarterbacks, bang, bang, bang. But that's where I leave them. I'm going to think about these guys a little bit more and where I'd put them in a dynasty league and a redraft. So stay tuned for a couple more videos. Thanks for checking out this NFL content. Thanks for checking out this NFL content. This has been Coach Ryan D with Hot Garbage Takes. Guys, take it easy. Bye.